Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. This is podcast episode 12, I think.
Is it the last one of the year or the first one?
I have no idea.
It'll be the first one.
It'll be the first one, yeah. So podcast episode 12 already. And I just want to say to everybody, hope you had a great Christmas and did everything that you wanted to do. And of course, when this goes out, you will, of course, have enjoyed New Year as well. If you celebrate New Year, do you celebrate New Year, Chris?
No, I'm in bed by 9.
Really?
I was going to be going to Barnsley this year for knees up, but I'm not going now.
Why?
Something to do with somebody's got a banning order on them because they were fighting in McDonald's.
It's a typical Barnsley sort of thing, then, is it? So I was fighting him. How do you fight in McDonald's?
We haven't got to the bottom of the story yet, but it sounds quite good.
My God.
Not me.
Not you,
family.
no, not
family.
you. Anyway, it is what it is. But so yeah, I know. I've got to say, I'm not a big fan
No
of New Year.
fireworks.
No, not being bad. I'll be honest. When we were kids, my old man used to be typical old trawlerman. He'd be like, right, you've got to stay up till 12 o'clock because it's New Year. It don't matter how knackered you are, you've still got to stay up. So we can all stand on the front and listen to the ships doing the horns. Why, Dad? Why?
Get your rage from to do it at 9 and then go to sleep.
Yeah. Why? So we used to have to go and stand out there in my gym jams, freezing cold, listening to and then, of course, this is like 1979 or whatever it is.
Is this Isle of Wight?
No, this is Grimsby. And 1979, 1980, and you got midnight. The odd firework, the odd air bomb, or something like that has gone off. Not like now; it's like London outside. Yeah. But it's just the way things have changed, and I think that kind of damaged New Year for me forever. And then, of course, through my catering years and working at Pier 39 and in entertainment and all the rest of it. Every New Year I was always working and it just became crap.
But it's always full of people who don't go out the rest of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they don't have to behave, do they?
No, but at midnight, they all hug each other. They're all hugging each other and dancing, Auld Lang Syne and all that stuff. And then 20 past 12.
They're fighting.
I mean... I don't get it. Maybe you've got some views that are different out there, but anyway, this podcast is a bit of a free-for-all today, so we can talk about anything we want. I have got a few pointers down here actually of things that we will talk about, but this one can be a bit of a free-for-all. Of course, we're going to talk about auctions and things, and we're going to talk about the challenge.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about 2024 and what a year that was. 2024, well, what was great about 2024? I'll go first. YouTube for Prestige Auctions. I think it's come on in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Our podcast is starting to get viewed more. We're going to start doing more things. I'm going to take the shackles off us a little bit because we've tried to keep it quite correct all the time.
We're going to put the stuff in that we've edited out.
I'm not sure about that. We may save up some of the outtakes for something later in the year.
But best wishes to Paul Hogan. Have a good New Year.
Yeah. Paul Hogan, who's alive and well. And commiserations to your crocodile.
We might get that handbag for him next year.
We'll probably be in the auction. So I think when it comes to YouTube and Prestige, it was the year that we really went for it on YouTube and started to go for it. Fly on the Wall documentary has not happened yet. That's proved to be a lot harder than we thought. We need to get some funds together to make that happen. And of course, them funds are just not available at the moment. I mean, I did speak about this in the podcast that I did with Lisa. But it's not been cancelled. It's just been delayed. That's all. And we do want to cover stuff like that. And then, of course, me and you started the podcast. And we just come on here and chat stuff every week, and you should see some of the stuff we talk about that don't make the podcast. My God, but I think that's going to be a bit today, really, of what we're going to do. because I've taken the shackles off us today. We can just talk about whatever we want.
Editing.
So before we do that, though, I want you to think back to some of the things that happened in 2024 in and around Prestige. And of course, there was that moment when Lisa played the bagpipes. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Watch this.
Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. Most of you thought I was joking yesterday when I told you that Lisa could play the bagpipes, but here we go. She's going to give you a bit of a rendition.
Oh my God. I mean, it was so funny. It was.
Never knew she could do that.
I never knew she could do that. And of course, we also had the behind the scenes footage of that as well. But, you know, Danny, who helped out with that, he's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's been coming to Prestige for some years now, and he's a proper nice guy, you know, and helped out with that. And again, making sort of videos and things for YouTube and TikTok and whatever that were just a bit of fun. And I think that's what we've sort of grown, people have grown to love with Prestige, isn't it? It's not a normal auction, is it? It's
but even on Mondays now.
Yeah.
You know, as stressful as it can be, as busy it can be, we're still having a laugh.
It's a bit of banter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we are, and maybe you can leave some comments about this. We are trying to still be that company, that business that is still allowed to have a sense of humour. I worked in industry before this, and when we first started in that industry, you could have a laugh, you could have some fun, there was banter and all the rest of it. And of course, it got too woke and too pathetic in the end, and you weren't allowed to say anything. You know,
we've not strung anybody up, pulled the trousers down, and greased them up yet, which was always traditional in Barnsley.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of that used to go on in the factory, you know.
Yeah.
People getting shrink wrapped and stuff, chucked in vats of oil.
We should start bringing it back.
But that was, of course, back in the days when people had a sense of humour, and you know,
didn't go and crying, did they?
No, it was just good fun, and I think we still try and maintain that. I mean, we don't shrink wrap people up and that, but we still have a laugh here. We still have banter, don't we? And it's good fun. And that, I think that always makes a nicer place to work, and I think that then portrays into the auctions itself as well.
It's like today. It's always funny when Dave has to clean out a fridge.
Yeah.
He loves cleaning fridges out, finding dead prawns and all sorts of stuff.
A dead prawn in a fridge. See, this is what you lot don't see. You see the finished product come Friday when the doors open for viewing, and also you don't see how we have to get there, which is why I think the Fly on the Wall documentary would be so important for this business.
We're all stood in the room spewing up.
Oh God, I mean, we've done some rough clearances in the past, some rough ones, and I think you've been on one or two as well. But do you know what? I remember being on one down Bradford Avenue in Claythorpes, and it was up there with one of the roughest that we'd done, and Dave,
old man Dave.
Yeah, Dave, our driver, he moved something in the kitchen. Well, this kitchen had not been used for probably, I'd say, 7 or 8 years, and it had been infested and all the rest of it. And he moved something, and the smell was beyond death. It was horrid. I don't know what the smell was. I've never smelt it before, and I've never smelt it since. But the second it happened, Dave just like, you see on what was that? Beetlejuice. You know, at the end when the guy's got like the big eyes that are popping out of his head. That was Dave for a split second as he moved this thing and just went, whoa. and then he's going, and he's sort of looking at us and he's going, "Whoa." Whoa. And the more he retched, the more me and Dean laughed. But the more we laughed, the more we had to breathe in deep. I was taking this nuclear waste into our lungs.
And did you lose it?
And, actually, there is probably a funnier one. Again, it's Dave again.
He seems to have cocked him, doesn't he?
When we did Pleasure Island, right? Okay, we had the big Pleasure Island auction, and behind the scenes, a lot of the work was done by the Prestige team. We didn't have specialised teams in and all the rest of it. We just did it ourselves, and we was in the Tinkerboo area, which was the Tinkerboo Playland, and the Tinkerboo Playland had its own cafe area, as most places do in a theme park. And I'd said to Dave, I'm laughing already thinking about it. I said to Dave and Dean, I went, move that fryer into the main food court. I says, because, that's saleable. We need to get it out. So anyway, Dave was looking as happy as he normally does. And they went to pick it up like that. And I think Dean tripped back or something. The fryer went down. They didn't realise it was full. It sloshed and it went straight up and over all this oil, straight onto Dave's jeans. Well, obviously, this fryer had not been cleaned out. Pleasure Island had been shut probably 18 months, 2 years at this point. Yeah. It had scraps in and all sorts. And Dave proper see his ass. Said, "These are my best jeans." I went, "Why are you working in your best jeans?" Anyway, he got proper mardy about it. And anyway, of course, me being me, doing all the things that I normally do, he come in and he went, come to me, he said, do you mind if I go home, Carl? I went, and I just stood there and I went, "Dave, why do you smell like a chip shop?" He lost it. Dean's in the background like that. He had to go home and get changed. And oddly enough, I've got to tell you one more, because we'll probably get Dean and Dave on one day and do a podcast with them, because they're at the sharp end of all the clearances and that. We was clearing a property in Grimsby, and it's Dave again. I don't know. Dave seems to just gather these things, and he stood there, picked this commode chair up, and it was quite heavy, lifted it towards him. You know what was coming, don't you? But it had never been emptied. It had never been emptied, and the whole contents of this commode potty went down Dave's top. Oh my God. I mean, that was probably close to the smell down from the other one, but he again, and all you've got is me and Dean in the background. And the thing is, some people may sit there watching this going, "Oh my God, you're clearing people's houses and you're taking the piss." Well, no, we're not. Whatever job you do, and I would imagine to a degree this would be similar in, even if you was an undertaker or whatever.
Stuff's going to happen when you're undertaker.
Yeah, of course it is. And the problem is with house clearance is that you are whatever is left in that house, it's up to you to get sorted out, and you've got to get it cleaned up and done. Exactly. Yeah. And amongst that, you can have some funny stories, and there's been a few. I mean, I'm not telling you half of them, to be fair, but there's some funny stuff. But yeah.
But somebody's got to clear it up. It don't magically happen, does it?
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is the problem. I mean, we're probably going to go a little bit off track today, because we are going to talk about anything today. And I think this is the problem we've now got with society, is that you're not allowed to have a laugh anymore. You're not allowed to, I mean...
Keep pulling yourself up because you...
Do you ever watch Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais, I think he's nailed it. I think he's got it so right. Something's funny or it's not. It's like that. And an offence is a personal thing. It's not a collective, it's personal. If you are offended by something, then don't watch it. Don't listen to it. Don't get involved with it. But don't put your opinions onto everybody else. Ultimately, if I don't like the smell of a certain aftershave, it makes me not feel right, you would move away from it. But it seems that anybody that, you know, wants to sit and talk about anything or listen to other people talking about things and then be offended by it, then...
Well, they get it wrong, so they turn it into bullying, don't they?
Yeah.
Because they're offended by it, they take it personally.
I'm live and let live. Are you live and let live?
Yeah. There's a big difference between having a laugh and bullying. We don't single Dave out every week. Yeah, we do.
Dave does take a bit of banter, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he gives it back.
He gives it back. And this is the thing. And this is what's really worrying me with this country at the moment. And maybe not just this country, maybe other countries as well. I don't know, as I don't live in them countries. But when you sort of look at what's going on in society now, and when you're trying to still run a business like Prestige, where you want to keep them old-fashioned values and sense of humours and all the rest of it, and be inclusive to everybody. And that's a modern thing, isn't it? In being inclusive and that, yeah. But being inclusive for everybody. You know, we had a customer ring us up and said that they were transitioning. Somebody from Beverley, it was. They rang up and said, "We're transitioning."
To Hull?
No, not to Hull. And they was doing whatever they do to become a woman. Yeah. And I actually found this quite strange that this person would ring us up and ask permission to come to our auction room because they didn't know how people here would take it. And I actually just turned around and said straight away, I went, well, I'll tell you, they'll do this. They'll either just accept you for what you are, or I'll ask them to leave. Because when it comes to inclusion, I'm all about inclusion. I don't care whether I don't care what colour you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what sex you go out as or whatever you do. You're either a good person or you're not. Simple as. There's two categories, good and bad. And if you want to be that bad person, then I don't want to have out to do with you. But if you want to be that good person, then great. Come and enjoy the auction with everybody else. We don't have that sort of crap here. And I think that's why Prestige as a community works, because everybody's in there.
They all join in.
They do, and they all join in the banter. Yeah. You know, and if anyone's offended by it, then, you know, I'm not sorry.
No,
I'm not sorry.
Problem,
yeah, because like Ricky Gervais says, you know, offences are a personal thing. You know, if I'm offended by something, I go. Simple as.
That's why you've got to be really, really careful. And it's been good this year of when you employ somebody new.
Yeah.
Because what everybody puts on when they come to an interview is different from what they actually are. And
yeah.
Like an interview personality, and then it changes once you start to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
That's really hard now to employ somebody, knowing whether they're going to fit in.
But I think that when you look at the team as it is now at Prestige, yourself included, who's got a cracking sense of humour. You know what I'm like anyway. Lisa's got a good sense of humour. She can be one of the boys. And then you've had the new members into the team this year, which one or two of them I think have taken a little bit of time to find the feet.
Yeah.
But Violet was one.
Yeah.
Violet who's on the Prestige team now. She was relatively quiet at the start, and then slowly but surely she's come out of her skin. And
these are young people.
Yeah. And I think it's probably a bit harder for the younger people as well to come into. We all remember going to them first days of your job years ago, and it's terrifying, isn't it?
It's a long time back now.
It is, yeah. I know, I feel it, mate. But it was terrifying going to a new job.
Completely different world from what you're used to.
And you know, and you're walking into, you know, as a 17, 18-year-old, and you're walking into a environment full of proper adults.
Yeah.
You know, that have been there, seen it, done it, and then, but with us actually thinking, well, it's a new starter, great, we'll make them feel welcome. They're terrified. They're terrified of the new job and things like that. And then you had Liv start with us as well.
Yeah.
You know, young girl, young lady, should I say? But you know what? she's been a great asset to the team as well. She found her feet. I didn't think she would at the start. And then George,
she was very quiet.
yeah, it's very quiet. And then George as well. George has remained quiet for quite a long time, and then he started coming out of his shell lately, and that
really recently.
Yeah, and that's great. But I think when they see us having the banter that we do and having a bit of a laugh, then I think that helps. And and to not have too much hierarchy in your business. See, I came from a factory background before we opened Prestige Auctions, where I don't want to have a go at individuals, but there was too many people there that had made the way up the ladder that were just, as soon as they got there,
they changed.
It's almost like they wanted to bully people, and there was quite a certain amount of bullying by certain individuals, and I think to myself, you look at that and think that's why you're a crap manager, because you think that you've got to intimidate and bully and that. Why do you need to do that? A good manager doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
A good manager has the team on board with them, not against them all the time. And and I still hear things now, even 8 years after leaving that job. I still hear people talking about the same names,
the same things, yeah.
And you think, God, they've not changed. But then you sort of look at that company as well and think, that company's not done anything about it, so they're allowing it to happen. Yeah, everyone's away talking about it, and I, as we got bigger as a business, started employing more people. We always said we would never be that business.
You learn from what you do.
Yeah, we always wanted to be a little bit better than that. So we talked about that. I want to talk also about a couple of things. I tell you what I want to talk about. Ghostly goings on at Prestige Auctions.
We've had a few.
Now, you like this, don't you? So I'll tell you what, before we go any further, let's have a look at some of the ghostly goings on that we had at Prestige this year. When that thing fell off that shelf,
You jumped.
I mean, you're proper into this. This. See, I'm very skeptical about stuff like this, but you, Lisa, and some others, that love it, don't you?
Oh yeah, I've been to several ghost nights and stuff. I've seen things, and I've seen things here as well that we haven't really talked about. Nobody believe yet.
I've had people since we put some of those videos out with the ghostly goings on at Prestige Auctions. I actually had people contact us asking if they can do a ghost hunt here and a ghost night and things, which initially I had no interest in, and then people told me how much you can get a ticket for and all of a sudden I thought it was a cracking idea.
There's nothing like a good ghost to resurrect a dead B&B. The hotel's doing rubbish.
Yeah, let's get a ghost in. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very skeptical about stuff like that. But there has been some strange goings on here.
Definitely something happening.
Strange goings on here, and whether you believe or not, again, I wouldn't damn anybody that does believe, because this is my thing. This is my ethics on things. That again, it's back to the don't matter what colour, what religion. What you believe in is what you believe in. That's entirely your choice. Just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean that I should damn you for believing in it. So when people talk about it and say that they believe and that, then great. I think
what
it's.
What do you think of the footage though? Because you've seen that, you've watched. I mean, it set the alarms off and also.
We've had some strange goings on here. There's no doubt about that. But
so if you were on. if you were hedging your bets, is something happening or not?
No, because I don't believe in it.
How can you explain what you've seen?
I could find explanations.
Yeah, you can invent stuff, can't you?
Well, you can
Drafts of wind. And
yeah. So I mean, that thing falling off. Well, lots of articulated lorries pass at that road, which is 40 foot away from where that fell off a shelf. They're constantly coming off the docks, slowly but surely. Vibrates enough, down it falls.
Yeah, you can explain. I suppose you can explain it away.
We
did actually have the footage of the thing in the back room that jumped off the shelf.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
But it didn't just drop, did it? It went up.
Yeah, we have had some strange things, but it's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those you believe or you don't, and
it's going to have to come up and shout in your face, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, question: do you believe? Who believes out there? Who's had something strange going on? Come on the podcast. Come spend the night in Prestige if you want.
Some people can sense it, can't they?
Yeah, and some people do come out with some weird and wonderful stuff, and it does. I
fetched that EMF meter, remember?
Yeah,
that was going wild.
Yeah. So was they a group from the 90s? Anyway, so we had the ghostly goings on as well, and we sold a Kew Gardens coin. Now this annoyed me this year at Prestige because there was one daily paper going on about selling an auction house had sold a Kew Gardens coin for £190, and they thought that was some sort of auction record for a Kew Gardens coin. Whereas 2 days after that was published in the papers, we sold them for £210, and not one daily paper touched it. It's all about 210 quid for 50p. I wish you had a few of them.
Yeah.
£210. I mean, £210 is significant, isn't it, these days? I mean, 210 quid is a Chinese now.
Or my weekly national insurance contribution.
Yeah. Oh, tell you what, hot news. A lady, Rita, if you're watching, rang us up this week, and from a different part of the country, had seen what we'd said on the podcast and that, and said that she would love to sign up for Prestige, and your parcel is on its way to you. You'll probably have, you might not have got it already because of New Year and that, but it's on its way to you. So thank you, and once again to everybody else, if you're listening in out there, if you do watch our podcasts or anything YouTube that we do, then you can sign up at Prestige Auctions. We don't do online bidding for general sales. The sales are too big. But if you do want to register and then have the stuff shipped to you, should you win it, there is a postage cost, but we can accommodate that for you as well. What's your favourite bits of 2024 then? Has anything exciting happened in your life? Anything in the national press? What's happened this year that Chris thought was okay?
Much of it.
We had an election.
I'd rather forget it.
Well, we always said we'd never get political in our podcast. However, for one day only.
It's biting now, isn't it?
It's. I have never known in the years that I'm 53. How old are you, Chris? Same.
Yeah.
53 years old, and I've been voting a long time now, and I have never ever known a political party lie their way into government as much as this one has.
Yeah.
And I've been red, I've been blue. Yeah. So I am one of them swing voters.
Any yellow?
No. My parents were liberal. When we were children, in fact, if my parents were alive now, I'd probably sue them. Because when we were children, you'll like this actually. Do you know where the Liberal Club used to be in Cleethorpes?
Yes, I do. You told me. I didn't know. I remember it's at my favourite Italian.
It's at Valentino's, yeah. Valentino's that has been there for years. Well, that used to be the Liberal Club. And my parents were both Liberal supporters. Now, obviously, my dad died when I was 14. My mum died when I was 19. So I never really got into talking about politics and all the rest of it with them, especially my dad. And they were big Liberal. And when we were kids, and this is why I should sue them, really, if they were still around, is because they used to make us go out and deliver Liberal leaflets through people's letterboxes. We used to have to, every time there's out with the rosettes on and all the rest of it. And we used
Probably be a dozen.
And I was like, but did you know the council for years here was under Liberal?
Yeah, when I lived in Cornwall, it was Liberals.
Yeah.
And that was useless. They achieved nothing.
Talking about the election, so we getting a little bit political now. So when I watched all the, I mean, we got lucky with Sky News chose us as a place to.
Yeah.
They announced the election from Prestige Auctions, didn't they? You know that when it was being announced by Rishi, I had to sit with one of their guys, and that was on the news that night. And then I was on the Kay Bailey show and all the rest of it, and that was okay. But when they asked me the question, who are you going to vote for? I said, well, look, I really don't know. I mean, my words were, I'm not keen on the Conservatives and what they've done. I'm not keen on Keir Starmer and what the Labour are going to do. So, let's have a look at what the alternatives are. And at that point, there wasn't really any alternatives other than Liberal Democrats. And then, is it Ed Davey? What's his name?
Liberal Democrats?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that keeps falling off stuff in the sea, isn't it?
And I'm not being funny, right? But all of a sudden, you've got this guy on the news every night on paddle boards, climbing across things, windsurfing, doing goodness knows what else. And I couldn't help every night but look there, looking for an alternative to where to vote, and looking at that every night and thinking,
that's not it.
How the hell can I vote for that? I honestly did. How can I vote for you? I'm not hearing you talk about what your policies are. I'm seeing you act a twat every day.
Well, he was like a Blue Peter presenter, weren't
he? John Noakes.
From the 70s.
Yeah. I was just like really, and I think that he had a real opportunity to turn a lot of these voters that couldn't choose.
Well, he wasn't going to win, but he had a laugh.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's all right for politicians to have a laugh, but we are relying on these people to run our country for us. Right, Sir Ed Davey, we've got a problem with Russia. This is the Prime Minister here. We've got a problem with Russia, and we think they may attack us. We'll tell them they can't at the minute. I'm windsurfing tomorrow.
You probably have them on a big plinth like this, like gladiators.
Can you imagine what Spitting Image would have done with Ed Davey? Spitting Image in the day, right, was... Anyone can remember Spitting Image, that is.
Can you still find it?
Spitting Image?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can YouTube it.
Yeah, I've got the full series. I've got all the series on DVD.
Yeah, I know you can get it on DVD, but I thought a lot of that stuff you can't find anymore.
So I mean, the president's brain is missing and all this. I mean, they got people just as they see them, and so yeah, I don't just want to have a go at Ed Davey because I mean, let's face it. I mean,
there's plenty of them you can have a go at.
The Conservatives, what they did, I thought it was the first kind of election we'd had where I really struggled to find anything positive in any of the parties.
Yeah, to
be honest.
Well, that's why the turnout was so unbelievably low.
Yeah, I think people wish they'd turned out more now though, because I think it's. Do you know what's really, really getting to me about the Labour Party at the moment that are in charge? I won't just say the Labour Party. The people that are in charge of our country is the best way to put it, because I do believe in democracy. So it doesn't matter who I voted for in the election. Who we get is who was democratically voted in. So we have to live with that. You don't have to like it, but you have to live with it, and you have to go with it and see what they can do. So I was that person that said, well, let's see what they can do now then. And then, of course, we're seeing what they can do now. And it's not great. But you sort of watch these people and think that when it comes to... I'm an avid watcher of PMQs, and I know you are as well. And I believe that all politicians should answer questions. I think it should be put into law that they have to answer questions, not divert round them every time. And every time Keir Starmer stands up in the House of Commons and says one word and sits back down again, he's not a lawyer now. You're not a lawyer anymore.
It's not answered a question since it's began.
Yeah, and I want, when the idea of PMQs is it's Prime Minister's questions, but he's not answering any.
No.
And I find that, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's happened in other parties as well, Conservatives and the like, but
it's got worse this time.
But it's got worse. But what's annoying me is the get up and he'll just go, no, and sit down, like a lawyer would.
23 billion black hole. That's it. Blah, 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 blah. Sit down.
And you know what? You've been in power months and months and months, over 6 months now.
6 months now, yeah.
Yeah. So now's the time to stop blaming everything on what happened before. And yet all we're seeing is more this is very political now. We're just seeing more and more cronyism in terms of, well, you know, there's another union load that are going to get another pay rise. They're going to get another pay rise. They're going to get another pay rise. But hang on, we've got a £23 billion black hole. We're taking all this money off the pensioners. What do you think to what Farage is doing with reform? It's a bit amazing, really, isn't it?
It's just going, because the Conservatives, I keep saying how right-wing the Conservatives are or were, but they weren't. They were central or left.
Yeah.
I mean, if Reform are gonna do something as a centrist or a right-wing party, then I think the things that they're dreaming up now are the correct things. They're what the majority of people in the country want to happen. Whether they can make them happen or not now.
Don't you think though that the big parties have kind of lost their way? I don't think there's a lot to choose between Labour and Conservative anymore.
They are the same, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. And you know, you may be thinking, why are you talking about this? This is a podcast about auctions, but this is the things that are affecting our businesses.
It's what people are coming up and talking to me about when I'm in the auction.
Yeah.
About how they're not putting the heating on.
Yeah.
How they're coming here for the day.
Yeah, coming and sitting in the auction today. Well,
£200 a day gas bill.
while we're paying, you know, for it, but you know, that's fine. I don't mind that. You know, we have some great people coming here, but because them two are so close together now, the way they're doing things, that it's allowing people like Reform to come through, and because let's face it, there isn't one person you talk to that's not fed up of the small boats arriving, and you know, you have the odd protest going, oh, they're welcome and all the rest of it. But you know, if you're generally looking for asylum, then do it through the proper route. Yeah. Come in with your papers and your passport, and go through the proper routes to seek asylum.
That Reform wanting to put a 5-year block non-immigration ban on until we sort the system out we've already got.
Yeah, I think that's not such a bad idea, is it?
Zero immigration for 5 years until we sort out.
I read something on the internet last night. I can't remember what it was on, but saying about if a small plane, a biplane, a Cessna, something like that, comes into UK airspace without its transponder on, we scramble 2 or 4 Eurofighters from either Scotland or Coningsby on the quick response. These are, you know, £200 million jets each, with top class fighter pilots in them to go and sort it out. Right, that will then be escorted to, I believe it's, what's the airport near London? It begins with S. Stansted, which I believe is the designated airport. Don't quote me on this. And it'll be forced to land, or if it ignores them, they will shoot it out of the sky. Yeah. But if you come across the channel on a dinghy with no papers, they'll go and help you in, land you, and put you up in a hotel. Yeah. And I read that, and it really hit a nerve for me. I thought, well, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, that's the RNLI, isn't it, as well?
It's border force and everything, isn't it? So
they're not far off the shores of France, fetching them back as well, aren't they?
What do you think to Trump getting in America? Because that seems to have been bigger news than
Brilliant.
than the UK. I think.
We need one.
Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is watching, because we all know that Nigel Farage is good friends with Trump.
Yeah, well then Labour put Mandelson in as the go-to.
Yeah, and one of Trump's top people have already said that.
I'm not dealing with
is it a buffoon or something, or a moron,
one of the world's biggest morons,
something like that. And you're like, the one big trade deal that we could do with doing is the American one.
Well, this is the absolute amateur nature of Labour. Is before they knew what the American election was going to produce, they alienated 50% who was even going to win.
Yeah,
they made it so clear that didn't they send 100 Labour supporters over?
Which is against political rules.
Yeah. So
I just feel that they've made. I would love to see an election called tomorrow.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. If Labour think that they're so popular, because they do still seem to think they're still popular.
Yeah.
Let's call an election then, and let's see if you're that popular now. Because there should be some grounds, and this is what bugs me with this country, is that if somebody a manifesto is like a pledge, isn't it, to what we're going to do. If you don't do things that are in that manifesto and you've lied your way in, then there should be something to say, hang on a minute. If you came to me for a job, Chris, and filled in your CV and said, right, requirements of the job, you must have a degree in valuation, this, that, and the other. And 6 months into that job that I've given you, I found out that you lied about that, I can get rid of you. Because you didn't follow the terms and you lied to get in. Why can't we do that with these governments?
And the Chancellor's done that with her CV.
Well, apparently, yeah. But that just seems to get swept under the carpet.
So all of a sudden, you find out that that front bench, they've all got £1 million houses and all the free gear that they're getting. They're exactly the same as the Tories.
There's no difference between them. And then I felt sorry for these. Is it the waspy women they called them?
Yeah.
These ones that the Labour Party had said, yeah, come on, we'll help you, standing, posing, having pictures and all the rest of it. And then as soon as they get into power, just completely give them that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just another massive batch of voters that are not going to vote for you.
But there's video footage coming out of your ears, isn't there? Cuddling up and telling them what they're going to do.
I just find that the whole political system in this country has just gone. Wow. I mean, and
I've come across a lot of Labour supporters or voters that have said they've made a mistake.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know many people that have admitted that they voted Labour, as there's not many would. But I think it's a shame for everybody what's happening in this country at the moment.
And it's not even April yet. And it's just gonna bite in April.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. And this is where we relate this to what we do as a business and to what you do as a business, because you don't just work for us, you do all the things as well. And all of these costs, I mean, is it not getting to you like it's getting to me when you walk into a shop now or get a takeaway or whatever and see how much it is?
Yeah, things have just shot up.
And then you've got the Labour Party there saying, all right, I know the Conservatives did something similar, just for clarity, but, we're going to put minimum wage up another 70 pence, 80 pence, whatever. But then we're going to hit you with the national insurance as well, the employer's national insurance, which is another cost to a business. So cost to the business, another cost to the business in the wages, another cost to the business, because when all them things go up, everything else goes up, like your insurances, your heating, all of your costs for everything you're buying. Who's going to pay for that? The customers.
Every business has got to put the prices up, so it just knocks on and on and on.
So it seems that the only people that are getting richer are A, the banks, and B, the government.
Yeah.
Because this is another thing that we like to talk about quite a bit, because it's frustrating for small businesses. the kids that are coming through, when I say the kids, teenagers and that are coming through, just get a card out all the time. Get a card. Mars bar, card. Coke, card. Everything, card. Right, fair enough. That's the way it is now, apparently. But what you don't see as just somebody that's got some money is that every time you use that card, it costs the business money.
Yeah.
A few pennies, because for the card transactions. When you was paying in cash, you can hold on to that cash, use it for customer payout, all the rest of it, and it wasn't costing that business any more money. So you're making these banks and bankers and that richer and richer and richer.
Yeah, millions and millions of micro payments that are taken constantly.
And it's, you know, all these hidden costs that people don't see. And it, you know, I'm not pleading poverty. Our business is doing okay. But I feel for businesses out there at the moment. I sit with people that I know that run businesses and listen to them, how they're struggling.
Just look at the town centre, and it's gone beyond that now, isn't it? Cleethorpes Road. The amount of people who are giving it a try and then they just close them within 12 months. I despair. I feel for other businesses. I do feel for them. I mean, you know, just because we're busy at the moment, because we're in the kind of times that this business will always be busy. Yeah. But when you look at some of these small traders and that are just battling against this cost all the time. Freshney place, wouldn't it? Go to Freshney.
Where's it going to end? Why, as a country, do we find we've got to tax everything? VAT, corporation tax, income tax, car tax, dog tax. Well, there used to be a dog tax. There used to be a dog license, didn't there, years ago? You name it, they're taxing you for it. And then you've got the cities now. Started off with Sadiq Khan in London with, you know, these tax, what they're called, these
ULEZ, isn't it?
ULEZ and that. Yeah. Taxes. Well, why the hell? Well, what gets me, this one, I see this last week, is you're being taxed because it's a green problem. So we're going to tax you for it. That'll make you greener. Then this week, all of a sudden, they've just announced they're upping all the taxes on electric vehicles. So why is it so surely, if they're all going to be electric anyway, and you're going to tax them higher, get rid of them city taxes now, can't you? Oh no, they stay in now. What else happened in 2024?
You put these stupid things on here.
Oh, do you know what? Well done. Right, there you go. How many people is that winding up, apart from me?
Keep cutting my nose on that serrated bit.
Right. Again, this is another load of crap that we have to put up with. That is a recyclable bottle, right? Anybody that's responsible is going to drink that drink, put the lid back on the bottle, and chuck it in a recycling bin. If they're not a recycler, a responsible recycler, they're not going to give a toss whether that's attached or not. They're going to not recycle any of it.
No, well, when that goes in a wood burner, that bit takes ages to melt. The rest of it goes quite well. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for any sea turtles getting his head stuck in that, do I?
But what was that all about? And it just suddenly happened, didn't it? It was another one for this year, another one for 2024. All of a sudden, we got told we wasn't allowed to use foam packaging anymore. So polystyrene cups, polystyrene fish and chip trays, we've got to now use cardboard. Okay, that's fair enough, it's not a problem. Polystyrene cups were 3p each. The cardboard ones are 12p each. So I'm just at a loss with some things that have happened in 2024, and I think that as a business, as a small trader and all that, you just feel like you're fighting all the time.
We're in full environmental tilt now, aren't we?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar rip-off, isn't it? It really is. You know, we all want to recycle. We all like to do our bit. I mean, Prestige as a clearance business has been doing it for years and years and years. We aim to recycle a minimum of 95% of everything we clear. We always have, and we've always maintained it and above. But to all of a sudden just start, I mean, when we tip as well, landfill tax. How much of it actually goes to landfill these days? Or does it actually go to waste to energy, where they actually burn it to turn it into energy? So again, it feels like theft, because if they're saying that it's got landfill tax in it and it's not going to landfill, why is it there? Why is it even there? Anyway, challenge. Let's talk about the challenge.
A good end to the year.
Well, of course, we put the challenge out there this year, and we restarted it a few weeks ago. And we was all going to start with a £20 note. We was asking people to get involved, and one or two customers who don't really want to be involved with the challenge as such, but they're actually talking to us now about they have listened and they have gone and done things, and we're getting some great stories of people buying stuff from Prestige Auctions and going away, putting some time and effort into it, maybe upcycling it and things, and making themselves some money. But the thing is, me, Lisa, Chris, and then Jenny, Tom and Brandon, we've all sort of partnered up, and we're all doing our little challenge bit here. So we do want you to carry on listening every week about the things that we're talking about. So first and foremost, what did you buy this week? And you was in the fortunate position with the challenge that have you taken your £20 back now? Yeah. So you took your £20 back, and you've now got. It just reminds me that I'm just looking over there, which we'll bring in a minute, but I haven't actually taken the starting money off that. Yeah, so I need to do that, because I want it for clarity, to keep it right. Because again, this is, I keep saying this, it's not a competition, it's a way of showing everybody that you can make possible. Money. Yeah. So while we're talking about all this political stuff and the problems that we're going to have and the money that they're going to take off us all, there is a way to earn extra without too much effort. And we're proving that at the moment. Chris is certainly proving it. I'm getting there now. So the hot news this week, before we talk about what you bought, of course, the hot news this week is me and Brandon sold the item. Yeah. So we paid our £18.88 or £18.80, whatever it was, and we sold the item for £120 the other day.
You're away.
£18.80 odd to £120. Bit of commission to come off that because it was sold through an eBay business account, that one, and you'll see the figures soon enough anyway. But the great news is that I'm now back in the game. Me and Brandon are now back in the game because we've got money to spend, and you'll find if you follow the rules of our challenge and the things that we do each week, that once you've got a few quid, it's easier to make more money.
It starts getting easier, doesn't it?
And so, come on then, what did you buy this week out of your pennies?
I bought one £3.50 item. I reinvested £3.51 or £3 plus commission.
Into what?
A very, very unique and strange piece of industrial engineering that nobody knew what it was.
Which was?
Some cricket stumps.
It was a water filter, wasn't it?
It was a complete house water filtration system, which I thought was for a koi carp pond.
And you paid how much?
£3.
£3 plus commissions. £3.54, is that? Yeah.
£3.54.
How much did you sell it for? So this was on Saturday, was it?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind it's Monday now. This goes out on a Friday, but we film this on a Monday.
Because we got back early on Saturday. Because it was a small auction.
How much did you sell it for?
That night, sold it for £99 plus postage.
Wow. You're listening to this, everybody.
It won't happen every week.
It won't happen every week, no. But it's proving that it can. You know, the item that I bought, 18 quid odd to £120. Yeah. This is what we're trying to show people that you can do.
I think this was quite lucky. And we have done the majority of our sales through the smalls.
I think the thing is, though, Chris, when it comes to certain things that you buy, particularly out of an auction room, most people are usually putting stuff into auction through house clearance, industrial clearance and that, because they just don't want it anymore, or they can't be bothered with it. We've just had a load of stuff in for this week's auction, which if you've been to viewing today, because this will be on Friday, loads of electrical stuff, LED lights and that from a business that's no longer running, and all this stuff is coming to the auction. These are the real bargains you can buy.
All brand new sealed.
And you can sell them. And
confidence because they're brand new.
But the thing is, most people, we had probably 1,000 people through these doors last Friday. They all viewed the item, all looked at it, but it was no good to them, so they didn't bother. But even if somebody else had seen it and thought, well, I'll pay a tenner for that, you wouldn't have minded paying a tenner for it because you'd have made good money on it still. And I think this is why we're trying to show everybody that, within the challenge, you can make money through very little effort. So that was it. That was all you bought, was it?
Yeah, but because we were stock rich and cash rich, we decided that, the stock's rolling in. That's bumbling along on eBay and Vinted. We didn't need to buy anything unless it really stood out.
No.
So it was a case of watching the room, see, and some things made good money this week that I did want to buy.
Yeah.
But they ran on, and I decided not to bother. But because we'd made the money, we were in a position, we're not forced into making decisions. We can pick and choose when we do it.
But this week's auction coming up, there's a lot of gear in it there. A hell of a lot.
Yeah, this is going to be a 1,500 lot sale.
There's
good buyers' weeks. There's so much stuff.
And again, I mean, I think you used the words earlier. There's plenty of stuff to go around this week. So everybody will have their eye on certain things. I think it's a good week for buying for people personally, but it's also a very good week for buying, for selling.
Yeah.
And there's a few bulk lots in there. And well, let me tell you what I bought. So of course, I got the news on Friday that the item had sold, so that automatically gave me money to spend. So even though we haven't actually got that money in yet from the I think it was eBay payment or whatever, we were straight, okay, it's sold now. In fact, it's packaged there, ready to go. So we knew we had some money to play with. So I bought 3 items this week. I bought 2 Incredible Hulks at £3.54, including commission each. And I also bought a thermal electronic thermometer at £3.54 in the auction, brand new in the pack. What do I think we'll get? I think we'll get £12 each for the Hulks, and I think we'll get probably £10 for the thermal thermometers. It's a good one. So take a bit of fees off in there. So that's £10 being turned into 30 quid.
Yeah.
And that should happen this week as well. But that's all of our stock at the moment. But Lisa and Tom, they risked their bit of money they had. They didn't have a lot, but they risked it. They've still got scarves and things to sell in the stock.
Have you got? No, you've just got what you've got in this week in stock, haven't you?
Yeah. I've not got a lot of stock. I mean, I obviously I buy and sell for other reasons, but
because you went all in on your first one, didn't you, and bought a single item on it.
Yeah. We took that gamble, looking like it's paid off.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Lisa and Tom have got some scarves and hats and goodness knows what else they've got, and they've still got a good pile of stock. But this week, the little bit of money they'd made, they reinvested that into selling some stuff on Vinted, which was it Sensational Eyes or something, which I don't think they're very much.
It looks like it's going a bit slow on that.
Yeah, so
they're stock rich, though, aren't they?
But they've got the stock, and it's early days. We're like 3 weeks in, are we? Something like that, out of 52 weeks. And of course, the aim of this is for us all 6 of us, to go on a holiday. And but it's where we're going to go. That is the plan, isn't it? It's got to be a Caribbean cruise, we think. But at this moment in time, who knows? It's but bring it in. Right. So Chris this week has made a leaderboard. Chris is quite handy. He does all sorts of stuff like this, and he's done a leaderboard. And this is the new leaderboard that we've got for you. And anyway, Chris, talk us through it.
Well, what we got? So obviously we'll be going cruising with Jane.
Any word from Jane McDonald this week? No, still. No. Anybody out there that maybe knows Jane McDonald? We do need to get her on a podcast because Chris would just melt. Anyway.
Yeah. She'll come. She'll be spend some time with us. You're on 89.20.
So that, and I've just said, I need to probably amend that because I've got to take my £19 out that we invested originally.
So 69.20.
Actually, it's £70.
Yeah.
£70 that is the actual figure of cash that we started with £20. Remember, at that point would have taken that £20 out. So we're actually got £70 in our pot at the moment,
Plus your stock.
and a bit of stock.
Yeah.
But we've got money to play with. Lisa and Tom,
They're on £3.40.
so they've got £3.40 in cash. Now, once again, remember, that means they've taken their money out originally. So they've got £3.40 profit at the moment and a load of stock.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot of stock.
And what's this here? Making money at Prestige Auctions. That's their little mascot there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the bottom figure then.
Team Joey.
Team Joey.
We're on 227.
£227.71. It's maybe gone up a little bit since then, but let's just talk about this. Come on, sit back down, Chris. £227.71. You're doing remarkably well.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Jenny's done loads on Vinted, eBay and Vinted. I had the boost with the the £95 profit on the single item. So
this is 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
I want you to think about this, everybody, for a moment, because we talk about this being a challenge of how to show you how to make money, right? So 70 quid there when that gets reduced down to set the original off. 70, 73, 80, 90, 100 to £300. £300 there that came from an investment that's already been taken out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
We're averaging 100 a week.
You're averaging the whole challenge, but see, ultimately, the idea of this week, that what we challenge ourselves with is to make enough money to go on a holiday, wherever that may be. But we have already shown you that 3 weeks in, look, there's money there. There's money being made. And I think it's remarkable. I mean, I think I know what you and Jen are capable of. You know, you've been doing it a long time, as I have.
We're going to try and do it from smalls.
Yeah.
I was just saying, we've had a lucky one with the big sale, but we're going to try and concentrate on making it out of smalls.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll be investing massive amounts of money further down the line. I think we'll stick to our little plan that's working.
So let me ask you a question, right? So you're 2,000 quid in, yeah? Mm. You got £2,000 in the pot and a bit of stock, okay? Because you will have stock at that point. Yeah. If you've got that much money, you will have stock that will sit there because it happens. Yeah. So you got £2,000 out there, and all of a sudden, because remember, you haven't just got to buy stuff from the auction.
No.
The rules of this are anything. It's this idea of just talking about making money. If somebody offers you a car for £1,000 that you could flip for £300 profit, are you buying it?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
You wouldn't take that risk?
No.
That surprises me, that.
I know cars.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a decent car. Somebody's just offered you a decent car. They're on their ass, yeah? And they're, Chris, I need some money. I need 1,000 quid. I need to get rid of this. Can you help me out? I want 1,000 quid for it. And you know you could flip it for 1,300. You wouldn't buy it.
No, I'd buy more boxes.
You do like your smalls, don't you?
Yeah. I wouldn't risk it. I think that's
so your strategy then is low risk.
Our strategy is low risk.
See, whereas my strategy was high risk straight away, wasn't it? First week.
Yeah.
And
it's paid off.
And it's paid off, but, you know, I mean, we were 3 weeks in and we're on, you know, a good profit. I mean, bearing in mind, what you've got to remember, guys, is you may be sat there at home thinking to yourself, well, and it's not a great deal of money, really, in the grand scheme of things. But let's not forget, this is just a very small part of what we do. This is a side of what we do in our day-to-day.
Yeah, got to keep my business separate from...
Yeah, I've got my own buying and selling business through eBay, which is, we have somebody work for us doing that. Mm. And so we are keeping our hand in at all angles, but this is on top of all that. Yeah. This is just proving that it can be done. But what we really do need you lot to do is tell us if you're getting involved. I mean, 1 or 2 people have come in the auction and told us about things they've bought and made really good money on. And I think that you could all do with making a few quid extra, because there's one thing for sure. In 2025, the government's going to take it off you. Listen, everybody, I hope you've had a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year. I hope you've maybe had a few drinks listening to us ramble on about all sorts of crap for the last hour. So any words from you for 2025 for everybody out there?
Let me know where Jane is.
We need Jane McDonald. Jane, if you do watch this, if somebody tags you in this, Prestige Auctions Grimsby, Chris is your biggest fan. Yeah. He needs to speak to you.
Come and sit here.
Come and sit on the set. Listen, everybody, thank you ever so much for watching Prestige Auctions podcast episode 12 or whatever it was. We'll have that sorted out for you.
Lucky 13.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, we'll look forward to that one. We hope you've enjoyed what we've done so far. And, of course, from next week, we are going to be doing some filming, not just here, but in other places as well. We're looking forward to that. We've also got guests coming onto the show in the not too distant future. So we're looking forward to talking to those. There'll be three of us in the studio, maybe even 4 of us at some point. So there's lots and lots to look forward to. So once again, thanks ever so much for watching. Say goodbye, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
And we'll catch you all very soon at the auction.